House flipping will not work anymore, according to the Zillow chief economist. Well, you know what? Maybe for once, Zillow is right about something. I found this interesting article on finance.yahoo. Zillow's chief economist says short-term tactics like house flipping won't work anymore as house prices continue to rise. No matter if the market's going up or down, people are always going to be crying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. But for once, I might think I agree with this, right? House flipping just won't work anymore for the most part. But here's the thing. This is why I love vacant land. This is why I'm saying right now, it's time to stop flipping houses. It's time to start flipping land. So on this video, I'm going to be talking about giving my own predictions of where I think the future of real estate investing is going. And you know what? Here's my prediction. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. What matters is making money, picking a strategy that works for you, stop chasing shiny objects, and focus on one strategy because it works, especially when you're wholesaling. You can wholesale houses, you can wholesale vacant land, you can wholesale notes, you can wholesale commercial properties, multifamilies, Airbnbs. But what matters is focusing on one simple strategy and doing it until you can make it work. And my opinion, in my humble opinion, flipping vacant land is the easiest strategy to do in real estate. And I'm going to be sharing with you why right now. And here's the article I was talking about. Zillow's chief economist says short-term tactics like house flipping won't work anymore as house prices continue to rise. And they'll give you 3 simple methods to build your real estate riches instead, which I don't agree with these anyway, but some of them are buy and hold and build equity. Of course that works. There are faster ways to make money. Become a landlord. Oh my gosh, who wants to become a landlord? I don't know. I mean, have you ever been a landlord before? Do you know what's involved with landlording? It's dealing with tenants, it's dealing with toilets, it's dealing with trash and termites. There are better ways to make cash flow. What if I could show you a way, would you believe me, if you could make cash flow flipping vacant land or selling vacant land on owner financing? And in fact, you could make better cash flow and you wouldn't have to go into tons of debt. You could use your own money. You could buy these little properties free and clear with your own cash, or maybe put them on a credit card or use private money or partner with me on the deals. But you can find little cheap lots. You can buy them for 25 to 35 cents on the dollar, sell them at full price with owner financing and get cash flow, a couple, 300, 400, 500 bucks a month. It depends. So this is a better way to get cash flow by selling owner financing on land. Does that make sense? All right. So back to my article here. The third way I think they say is to buy REITs. REITs, I think that stands for real estate investment trusts, something like that. I don't know. There's better ways to make money than flipping houses or listening to the guys at Yahoo Finance. So I'm going to be sharing about that. My little goal in this mind map that I have for you here is I'm going to give you my own flipping forecast. The future of real estate investing is flipping land, in my opinion. So I'm going to discuss the rising trend of land flipping and why I believe land is a smarter choice for doing deals in 2023 and 2024 going on. So what is land flipping and how is it different than flipping houses? Well, it's not much different really in the big picture sense of things. When you are flipping vacant land, unlike flipping houses, you're not doing any work to the property. We don't do any subdividing. We don't do any rezoning. We're not cleaning out the property or clearing it out. We're not putting any underground utilities. We're not doing any kind of entitlements. You certainly can if you want, and there's an opportunity and positions for that, but you don't need to. We can make the same cash flow, and I'm going to argue better, without the tenants and without the rental headaches that normally come with managing rental property. And trust me, I have been there, done that, and it's no fun. Basically, flipping vacant land is just getting a vacant lot under contract from a seller and then flipping that contract, selling that contract to somebody else. A lot of little nuances in there, but it's basically we're going to find a vacant lot that a seller has owned for over 10 years. They don't live in that county. They just don't want it anymore. They don't care about it anymore. They just want the cash. We make them an offer. We get 1 out of every 20 to 30 offers accepted. And then we buy that deal. We either turn around and resell it at a profit or we sell it for cash flow. Now, my own personal numbers, and I can't guarantee this for anybody, our average profits are about $10,800 on a vacant lot that we wholesale and flip. We've done some where we only make a couple thousand. We make some where we're working on right now where we're going to be making about 40 grand. Can't promise you that anything. Those are just my typical numbers. Okay. But you find a cheap lot, you get 1 out of every 20 offers accepted, maybe 1 out of 50. I don't know. It's a numbers game. And then you turn around and you sell them. All right. Why is it so hard to flip houses in this market? Biggest reason is it's just too competitive. You're competing against retail buyers, investors, and hedge funds. Retail buyers are people that are just buying it for themselves, right? Investors are always out there looking for deals. Hedge funds, they've got all the money. It's just too much competition. Now, vacant land is also competitive, but not nearly as competitive. When you are doing real estate investing or wholesaling for houses, marketing costs a lot of money. For example, with direct mail, you're lucky if you can get 0.5% a response rate on your letters. We're getting 1 to 2% response rates. We're getting 3 to 4 times the number of response rates in our direct mail. So when you're typically doing houses, in my experience, what I've seen with a lot of people in the industry, you're spending anywhere from $4,000 or $5,000 in marketing per deal. With vacant land, we're spending around $1,000 in marketing per deal that we find. It depends on the county. It depends on where we're going, and depends on how good we are at talking to sellers on the phone, etc. But one of the biggest reasons why it's hard to flip houses, at least harder, is sellers are more attached to their properties. You know what I mean? So a seller who has lived in a house for 20 years, or they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on buying it, it's going to be harder for them to part ways or to sell that property at a discount, okay? When you're buying a house, typically you need to buy it at 60 to 70 cents on the dollar. So generally you're dealing with bottom of the barrel, desperate, motivated sellers, and they just need to get out. They've got a huge pain. They can't wait to sell it on their own. But with vacant land, it's a lot different. You're dealing with somebody who hasn't been to that property in years. Maybe their husband bought it and they passed away. They just don't care. They want out of it anymore. They just don't care about it anymore. There's a lot of people who own vacant land. They bought it 10, 20 years ago. They just don't care. They want out of the deal. So most sellers, they're just more detached from the property. And interest rates, my goodness, they are sky high right now. Historically, yeah, they're not the 20% that they were in the 80s, but they're double what they were a year ago. And where are they going to go? What are if a seller is selling a property, where are they going to go? What are they going to buy? If they're going to be buying another property, they're going to have to downsize to keep the same mortgage payment. So sellers are really reluctant to sell their houses right now because they have no place to go. Same with landlords and other investors. They're reluctant to sell their properties because what else are they going to buy? It's just very, very difficult. So land, it's just easier. What are the advantages of flipping land over houses? I'm telling you, easier cash flow without the management typical landlord headaches. And you can get free and clear cash flow without taking on any debt or getting any mortgages. When we're buying land, typical average deal, at least in my case, we're buying them for around 10 to 20 grand. They're worth maybe 40, 50, 60 grand. And we are selling them many times at full price with owner financing. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, 9 or 10% interest. We try to get 5 to 10% down. So you can get great cash flow without huge debts and mortgages and things like that. With land, a lot less risk, a lot less competition, and my kids can do it. This is true. I wanted to get my kids into real estate, but I didn't want to teach them all of the complicated nuances with houses, right? Trying to explain to them what the ARV is or how to calculate repairs or try to comping properties. I just wanted something simple where they didn't have to talk to sellers either. So I just started building systems in place where we pick a county, we pull the list, we send postcards, cheap 52-cent postcards, first-class mail. Those postcards drive people to a voicemail, and then that voicemail, we listen to it a couple times a week. We send them an offer at maybe 35 cents on the dollar, and we get on average 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 30 accepted. That's it. So my sons, when they were teenagers in high school, were able to do this with me. I helped them a lot with it, but we grossed over $150,000 in profits. Again, I'm not promising that that's going to happen to any of you. Most people who try to get into this business don't make any money. Most people fail and quit and give up. But I'm just telling you what we did, okay? Your results are entirely up to you. I have to do all these disclaimers now, but it's true. We put in the work, we put in the effort, we invested money in marketing, we worked really hard, and we did these deals. It took us, a couple years to do all of that, 3 years. We did it very, very part-time. They did it with my help. But yeah, pretty simple. My kids can do that. A lot easier than wholesaling houses. What are some of the important factors to consider when flipping vacant land? Make sure you're buying in areas with high demand. This is really important. In fact, I forgot to mention this. If you go to, let me put it up here. If you go to simplelandkit.com, I have what's in there called a Land Watch hack. And this is not a trick, but it's a little free online tools and resources that I use to find the best markets. We want to follow the money. Success leaves clues, right? So we want to make sure we're only doing marketing for vacant land in areas where there's a lot of vacant land being bought and sold. So if you go to simplelandkit.com right now, you'll find out how to do that. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back. That doesn't matter to me. All right. So the other important risk factor to avoid or to consider when you're flipping vacant land is make sure you're not overpaying for the land. It's pretty hard to overpay for a piece of land when we're offering it 25, 35 cents on the dollar. The most we'll usually ever offer is 45, 50 cents on the dollar. So it's really easy to overpay for houses. It's harder to overpay for vacant land. So be aware of some of the following when you're looking at land. Access. The property has to have access to it. You got to look at the terrain. Is it on a slope? Is it on a mountain? Is it on a cliff? You got to make sure it has clear title, obviously. You got to make sure there's no environmental issues. You got to make sure it's not in a flood zone or a wetland. And utilities are good to know. If it has utilities, it makes it a lot easier to sell. Oh, one more thing I forgot to add on here is HOA restrictions. Not that they're bad, but sometimes in some areas, the best properties to sell are the ones that don't have any restrictions. People can go there and put a tiny house on it or a trailer or whatever. You just have to be aware of these things, okay? Pretty much my number one deal killer is access and clear title. I've sold a lot of property that are in flood zones and wetlands. It's not a big deal. I've sold a lot of properties with no utilities. I've sold properties in strict HOAs. If the price is right, you can sell anything except for access. If there's no clear, simple, easy access, or at least some kind of right-of-way or easement, then it's really hard, if not impossible, to sell property with no access. And if 5% of it is actually usable and 95% of it is on the side of a cliff, obviously that is hard to sell as well. The other important factor to consider when you're flipping vacant land is do not buy land until you know you have a buyer for it. This goes back to my number one rule of making sure that you are only in markets that have a high demand. But when you're in those markets, you get a deal under contract or you're researching it. When we get it under contract, we have 3 months to close. Why 3 months? Because you need more time to do due diligence. And it's also really awesome because unlike houses, we don't have to put any earnest money down. We don't have a 30-day inspection period or 2-week inspection period. We have 3 months to close. And my contract actually even gives us an additional 30 days if we want it. And we can cancel the contract for any reason whatsoever. So I'm not saying you should go into a bad deal. You should know within a few weeks or a month if it's a bad deal or not. But you do not have to close on this property if you can't sell it. And the great thing about land is you're not, like if you did have to cancel the contract, and it's very rare, but if you did, it's not like you're throwing, the seller has packed everything and moved out of the house and, is scheduled, has all the movers scheduled and all that. And you got a place where they're going to be staying. And then all of a sudden you cancel. Unfortunately, that happens a lot to sellers of houses, and it's very bad for our industry when that does. But with land, it's different. So we give ourselves 3 months for due diligence to make sure that we can verify taxes, title, and value. That's what I say. And to make sure that we can actually market the property to some buyers. If we're not getting good interest after we market the property, if we can't get good interest within 1 or 2 months, then we usually go back to the seller, have the conversation, renegotiate a lower price, or just cancel the contract. But worst case, 3 months in and you find out, you know what? I've had the fourth buyer fall through because something's wrong with whatever. then you can cancel the contract. So do not buy ever a property that you can't sell. Do you understand why that takes away a lot of the risk? Really important to do that. By the way, again, if you go to simplelandkit.com, you're going to get the contracts that I use with sellers so you can see what I'm talking about, and it's completely free. So like I said before, related to this, make sure you have at least 3 months for due diligence and to market the property, and make sure you have multiple exit strategies. So I like to sell my properties for cash and for seller financing. In my experience, for every 1 call that we get from a buyer looking to buy it with cash, we get 3 or 4 people looking to buy it with owner financing. And then worst case too, if you did buy it and close on it, let's say you sell it with owner financing and the buyer backs out, can you at least sell it to break even if you have to? Yes, you can if you do this right. Because again, we're buying these properties at 35 cents on the dollar. So if you had to sell it, worst case, sell it for what you bought it for. The other big factor that's really important to consider when you're flipping vacant land is use local realtors to help you sell your properties. That is very important. I'm going to be talking about that here more in a minute. How do you avoid the most common mistakes in flipping land? Great question. Glad you asked. Make sure you do careful due diligence after you get it under contract. Make sure you have a buyer before you buy it. Never stop marketing for sellers. I'm going to add here, and buyers. We're always marketing. We want to keep our lead pipeline full. And then this is really important. I want you to always be conservative on your offers. What does that mean? Being conservative on your offers means if you think the property might be worth $30,000 to $40,000, go with 30. It's kind of similar to houses, right? If you think the repairs might be $10,000 to $20,000, then figure $20,000 on repairs. If you think the rents might be $700 to $800 a month, then go with $700 a month. So it's really important to be conservative in your offers and not try to chase the most money. If you feel like the property is going to be worth $20,000 to $30,000, the realtor says, yeah, you can sell it for 30. You're looking at comps. Then you say, well, I don't want to wait 6 months to sell it. I want to sell it within 1 or 2 months. Go with the lower number. Go with the $20,000, this lower number, and then work your offer backwards from there. Take that. Okay, I'm going to list it for 20 because that'll be the cheapest property in the area, and I'm going to sell it the fastest. I want to sell it in 1 or 2 months. And then from that 20, subtract the wholesale fee you want to make, subtract the realtor commissions, subtract your closing costs and things like that. That comes up, that'll help you come up with your offer. But always be conservative. Don't be afraid to offer 40 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar max. You want to be conservative, all right? Because worst case, then you sell it for what you bought it for. Or worst case, you just don't buy it because you can't find a seller, right? It's easier. This is the point I'm trying to make. It's easier to be conservative and do these deals with land than it is with houses. Makes sense? Almost done. Some tips and tricks to flip land successfully in this market right now. Pick really good markets. Again, go to simplelandkit.com and get that because I show you how to pick those good markets. Always be marketing. Also, again, at simplelandkit.com, you're going to get my direct mail swipe file to see actually what it is that I'm sending to sellers. Biggest rule in real estate. What is the number one rule in real estate? It's not location, location, location. It's make offers, make offers, make offers. That's how you succeed in this business. Make offers. And so if you want to succeed, make lots of offers. I suggest talk to 5 sellers a day. If you're in this, you want to make a full-time income flipping vacant land. If you're not talking to people, you're not making money. Now, you should be making an offer to every seller that you talk to. So let's say you make 3 offers a day. That's 15 offers a week. That's 30, 60 offers a month. Do you think in month 2 you've made 120, 60? Is that right? 15, 30, 60 offers a month. In 2 months, you made 120 offers. In 3 months, you made 180 offers. Did I do that right? All right. Do you think one of those are going to turn into a deal? Yes. Your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make. Did you hear me? Your speed to income is directly proportional to the number of offers that you make. So if you're like, man, Joe, this is hard. I'm struggling. I've been doing this now, and I've not done a deal yet. Or all these sellers are telling me no, it's too competitive. I can't sell these deals, or I can't buy any deals. Like what? I'm going to ask you one question. How many offers have you made in the last week? It's a numbers game. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. If you know that you need to be making 20 to 30 offers to do a deal, why haven't you made 30 offers yet? You know, what if it's 50 offers? What if it's 100 offers? 1 out of every 100 offers gets accepted. Well, guess what? You need to be making 100 offers as soon as possible. All right, we're almost done here. The other big rule is follow up, follow up, follow up with all of your leads. You're going to find 75% of your deals come from follow up. Work with local realtors. They will help you sell your properties fast. You only pay realtors if they bring you a buyer. I always pay my realtors generous commissions. And when I'm talking to realtors, I'm calling realtors saying, hey, do you have a buyer for my property? I'm not calling them asking to list my property. I'm calling them to say, hey, do you have a buyer for this property? I see you sold one out here recently. This one's cheaper. It's a better deal. And I'm paying you, I pay realtors 10% commissions if you can bring me a buyer. The other rule is don't quit or give up when it gets hard, because it will. And then finally, get a coach or a mentor to help you, to hold you accountable, to help you focus on what's most important. How can you learn more? I'm going to give you 2 simple websites right here. You can also go to, again, simplelandkit.com that I showed you before. But if you want to watch a webinar where I actually teach you how to do this in like an hour-and-a-half webinar, go to simplelandclass.com, simplelandclass.com. That'll redirect you to a webinar. You sign up for it, watch it. You'll get a free book when you go there too. Did you know I have a book? I don't talk about this very much. Here it is, Simple Land Flips. And I called it 10K in 10 hours. I don't talk about that anymore because, I mean, you can, but that's kind of an income claim, and I don't mean to make those guarantees. But you can learn how to flip vacant land deals at simplelandclass.com. You're going to get my book, and you're going to get the mind map that I use for creating that class. You can also get the free little toolkit that I talk about at simplelandkit.com. Okay, simplelandclass.com, simplelandkit.com. That's all I got. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching these videos. If you like my channel at all, please hit the subscribe button. Get the notification bell thing clicked so you can get notified when new videos come out. Really appreciate it. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below, all right? Thank you.